What did I play in the year of 2024? What a wonderful question, and I'm here to answer that for you. Let's get started. This year was a bit different than last. I spent less time gaming and more time outdoors. I traveled the East Coast, saw some lighthouses, saw some beaches, took some pictures, walked the world's longest covered bridge, and captured some nice shots of that total solar eclipse back in April. I returned to some hobbies I haven't been able to take part in years, and I discovered some new and exciting hobbies that I really wish I discovered earlier in life because now I'm old and out of shape. On that topic, I'd like to once again mention that I've opened up a new YouTube channel focusing on one of those new hobbies. That being the wonderful world of airsoft. I encourage you to go check that out. Link is in the video description below. Following my renewed interest in returning to slower, more strategic video games was a lot of time spent in Ready or Not.
Okay, so this door was empty and not booby-trapped.
Despite the issues I have with its AI, broken features, and a general lack of polish, Ready or Not is the title I've probably spent the most amount of time in this year. Whether it be with friends, with the AI teammates, or completely solo, Ready or Not has filled that strategic FPS hole I've been looking to fill for some time now.
Door on the right. Oh.
With a plethora of maps to master, multiple playstyle options to explore, dynamic enemy and objective spawns, and more mods than you can wave a Glock at, there's a healthy amount of replayability, and more than enough challenge to keep me coming back. In many ways, this game brings me back to my teenage years where I'd play SWAT 4 for hours on end. Ron follows a lot of the same gameplay principles and atmospheric elements that SWAT 4 implemented. Even the in-game UI is distinctly similar, so sometimes it feels like I'm stepping into a comfy new pair of those same old boots I loved wearing all those years ago.
Oh, you idiot.
The 1.0 release came with a few quality of life improvements, although not nearly as much as I'd have liked, while still ignoring the game's bigger issues. The SWAT AI will now sometimes have a mind of their own, roaming around and doing whatever they desire. They sometimes forget how to navigate rooms, and the suspect AI still act like they're all former Navy SEALs. But despite how much I loathe these shortcomings, I've actually come to appreciate that the AI is this difficult, because it keeps the game from becoming boring. I'm sure we've both played games in the past where the AI is so brain dead that you can finish a round half asleep. And that's fine if you just want to sit back and relax, sure. But this isn't a relaxing game.
Surely there's no way this is booby-trapped.
And yeah, it's annoying that suspects can see me a mile away from across the map and then track me through multiple walls. And you bet it's frustrating that they're always facing my direction when I peek a corner. But that's not entirely unrealistic, I suppose. And that adds to the challenge, because you've got to be quick. And you need to be precise, or you're going to lose. Now, if I'm in the mood for it, it can be addicting to strive for that perfection, and if achieved, is immensely rewarding. Honing your skills, practicing strats, and then executing a breach of a room, swiftly taking down suspects with precision and accuracy. At times, it can feel like it's almost at the level of PvP gameplay. But there's just something about fighting AI that act like this instead of real human players that make it much less sweaty. And I'm okay with that.
It's booby-trapped. It's booby-trapped. Hang on, give me a second.
Stand back.
Give him space, give him space!
And of course, for those days when I'm feeling extra spicy, I can load up my team with pepper balls and we can try to I can load my team up with pepper balls and we can try to S-rank the missions. July 23rd saw the release of the Home Invasion DLC. With it came 3 new maps, 3 new guns, the move to Unreal 5, more quality of life improvements, and it just happened to break all the mods. Again, all that for the low price of $10. The new maps focus on the theme of an environmental disaster causing widespread panic and civil unrest in the affected areas. So SWAT is called in to 3 different locations to assist with what needs to be done. Serving justice! The new weapons are basically just reskins of what we already have in-game and are really not anything worthwhile writing home about. So I'll just stick to the tried and true Benelli M4 and the Supernova! Because nothing else says sit down sir more than... know me, and you probably know me, but if you do know me, then you know how much of a Battletech fan I am, and more specifically, MechWarrior. And if you are one of my good friends, then we have probably talked about and played together both MechWarrior Online and Mech 5 Mercenaries. I have a soft spot for both of these games as they have given me years of enjoyment, but they have not given me that one thing that I have been begging for since completing Mech 4 all those years ago. A deep, compelling, cinematic narrative.
You armored demons have wreaked enough havoc!
Fire everything.
Your reign of chaos ends now!
Holy shit!
Reborn scum!
So, to say that I did not enjoy Mech 5 Clans like it was the juiciest meal I have had all year would be a lie the size of your Massacari. MechWarrior 5 Clans is almost everything I wanted it to be, and I could not be happier that PGI decided to focus on visually creating a retelling of a few of the more prominent moments in Battletech lore. Now, of course, if you dig into the weeds, you can always find problems. That means there are, of course, some things that I do not like. The writing for some of the core story beats could have been more thought out. The UI overall is a mess. Some core gameplay mechanics have been dumbed down, which make the game too easy, and eventually the admission gameplay can start to feel a bit too repetitive. But to put it into perspective, this is the most impressive game PGI have made thus far. The level design is great. Each mission feels unique to that specific location because no longer are they procedurally generated. Navigating from checkpoint to checkpoint feels like a natural flow of the local terrain, adding to the immersion. The maps look visually pleasing. If only the UI was not in the way all the time to allow me to take in the pretty scenery. There's interesting and engaging dialogue throughout the in-game missions, and during the in-between cutscenes as well. And you can bet your left targeting computer that I will be making a video review of Mech 5 Clans soon enough, so long as you know that I heavily enjoyed the game and am very pleased with what PGI have done. And as usual, everything is always more fun with friends.
Stinner, don't shoot! You just broke my arm!
Initiating launch sequence. Stand clear.
There it goes. It has
There was no flames or anything like that. Okay, so let's do the best. Get a calculator out in front of you.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a calculator.
Okay. 10.
Yeah, 10 plus 6
times
is
6.
6.
Right? So that's how much LRM you have per LRM. Right? You have 60 LRM per LRM. Now do 15 times 5.
15. That's
75. Right? So I get 75 LRM per LRM. So I get 15 more LRM per LRM than you do.
That's 65% more bullet per bullet.
Oh my god, are you okay?
Yeah, I just what the LRM per LRM. And water came out my nose.
828. Approaching designated.
Yeah.
Oh my! Did you see that?
Yep.
He just went, no, I'm out, and then just went evaporated through the floor.
Zoop. Oh, look at
that arrow!
Little family of arrows.
Poor thing, it doesn't have any arms.
That was my mech before
Oh,
Pickle had a little bit
so
of fun.
Sad.
You know, if someone didn't trip the alarms, that adder would still have arms.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Used to our advantage.
Guys, could you stop killing each other's adders for like 5 minutes? Oh, there's a warhawk there. Do you see him?
I see him.
What Warhawk?
There used to be a warhawk there.
Guys, I've encountered a problem.
What's that?
Oh shit, there's mechs.
Yeah.
Oh shit, there's an atlas right in front of me.
There's a vector
I'm dead.
a foot away from me, and I can't do anything about it. Oh god.
Pickle, why is your reaction just to hop inside the dropship?
It's because
Why is
I
that
love,
your first
I love
thing to
dropship.
do? You're like, ooh, dropship, better go get stuck.
Where's Pickle? I need to shoot him in the face.
He's stuck. He's not stuck in the dropship. He's stuck under the dropship.
Oh my god.
How did you get stuck there?
The doors. I was underneath it, and the doors opened.
If I shot you in the back, how upset would you be?
You're on.
Am I on top of him?
Yeah,
You are,
you're on top.
yeah.
I can see your foot.
I did go a lot into the science, so we've got a lot of fucking science completed research if you look.
Nice.
Science tree. Piano.
Piano!
I love you guys. And to my more linguistically adept listeners out there, I hope you appreciated that I did not use a single contraction for this chapter. At one point this year, I had a discussion of sorts with one of my good buddies over the mere thought of playing MechWarrior Online once again, let alone buying their latest mech pack, the Bane. It could be considered a poor financial decision to spend real-life money on a 12-year-old live service game when there is no longer a guarantee that the servers will stay online long enough to fulfill your enjoyment of the product or justify that monetary requirement. I got him! Never have I had so much fun using actual LRMs.
Target destroyed.
Oh man, it's so dirty. But then that would also require one to start playing the game regularly again, something I haven't done for a few years, until now. For a bit of context, I used to play this game a lot. Then I joined a unit and played it even more. Then I joined a comp team and the game became my life. I then started streaming and continued to do all those things at the same time until comp was over and I got so burnt out I had to step away from gaming entirely for a while.
Target destroyed.
Oh, and then there were some floaty things in the air, which were somehow connected to me not having internet, or a job, or a sense of purpose, or the will to live. I've had a few of my friends and gaming buddies ask me why I keep coming back to MechWarrior Online. And to answer that question, I need to ask a question. Why do people still play Warframe, War Thunder, Counter-Strike? Because each of those games are unique.
Alright.
There's not much else out there quite like them. MechWarrior Online has a high skill floor and an even higher skill ceiling, which makes it extremely difficult to get into as a beginner. But once you get the hang of it, you're hooked for life. Despite how much time has passed since the release of the game, looking past the lack of meaningful content updates, all those extra game modes robbed of the polish they needed to see their peak potential, the everlasting bugs and glitches the devs can't seem to figure out how to fix, the dwindling player base, despite all the problems MechWarrior Online has faced throughout the years, the core gameplay loop is still captivating and exhilarating.
New target acquired.
But it goes deeper than that. There are a metric dropship ton of mech chassis to choose from, and with all the variants that accompany those chassis, that amounts to over 500 individual mechs you can choose to field in battle. Now, that number doesn't include all the heroes and specials that you can buy for real money, or the free loyalty and legendary mechs given to only the most dedicated mech pilots. If you were to include all those, that number jumps up to 1,149. The mech lab is robust and practically unlimited. You've got loads of weapons to choose from in whatever engagement range you want to play in. There's almost endless customization to make the best or the worst loadouts possible. And then you can go ahead and paint your mech to make it as sleek or as garish as you want. Then you've got the gameplay. 4 weight classes means role warfare within those classes is important and should be respected. Learning how each mech plays, what mech is better at what, with what build, learning what enemy mech is more dangerous than the other, what you can take on and what you can't, what part of what mech to shoot to maximize your effectiveness. Practicing the art of torso twisting to predict when the enemy might shoot you to spread their damage out across your entire mech instead of one specific location. Learning to play off each team member and the team at large to position yourself for success. It's all very complex. But that's why I love it so much. And to this day, I still haven't found another game that scratches that same itch for me that this 12-year-old game still does today.
Wow, okay.
You killed yourself, and you got another guy apparently too.
Oh, I
You
got
got
both
both
of them. Wow,
You
okay.
got both of them.
But it goes even deeper than that. This community is the best goddamn group of nerds I've ever been a part of. People that I met almost a decade ago have now become lifelong friends who play games with each other and chat with one another pretty much every day.
Target destroyed.
Ah, that's annoying. That's super annoying.
When you're in game, you'll find friendliness and a positive go-with-the-flow attitude in most of the matches you play.
I was ripping off. That's the second one.
This guy likes my eyeball.
Sir, do you like my eyeball?
Oh god.
Stare into my eye.
Pickle. I have 2.
This guy,
You think my one eyeball is bad? This guy's got 2.
he's just screaming into his mic.
With of course the odd sprinkling of salt here and there to even things out.
I'm getting fucking salty because I'm in a fucking brawling mech on this fucking map.
No,
Nobody's
because
fucking
you're
doing
fucking
anything.
baby and you're tilted. Tuck your shit in. Concentrate.
Why do you fucking respond to me, fucking piece of shit?
Shut up.
New
Shut the
target
fuck up yourself.
acquired.
Shut up, dude. You're being a distraction.
I have fond memories of attending both MechCons 2017 and 2018, meeting the other members of my unit in person, hanging out in person with all the other streamers, getting drinks with but not first before accidentally scaring George Ledoux.
Streamers. We've got stuff all over the place. Oh, look at, Pickle, look.
Waiting in line with Father Bill for like an hour to try out those Mech 5 Super Pods, where I almost cooked that poor stalker to death. Jay, please avert your eyes, don't look. I love this community, and I love this game. It's been a large part of my life for a long time, and I'm not willing to let that go. And of course, the game is still sometimes fun too.
Enemy base is being captured.
And then when he turns around, I hide.
Target destroyed. Left arm critical damage. New target acquired.
I almost got the rifleman. Come on, rifleman. I shouldn't be up here. I'm gonna die.
New target acquired.
Why are there it's a clone! I can't believe I'm killing assault mechs and a light mech with one large pulse.
Target acquired.
Oh, he wants my nuts.
Left arm critical damage. Center torso critical damage.
I killed the rifleman, by the way.
New target acquired.
Who's this?
New target acquired.
Osiris with legs?
Light. Echo 3, Echo 4, watch out.
Target.
Not anymore.
New target acquired.
That was awesome.
Hello, I'm back.
Left torso critical Excellent.
Oh, I wanted to get him. Such a stupid build. I love it so much. I know, like what am I doing? Face tanking an assault mech? Oh my god, look at this. This is a good build to end on. I almost did 1,000 damage with one large pulse. And that's why I made the choice to support the devs once again and buy the Bane, something I haven't been able to do for a long time. Now that I'm not so burnt out, I've been slowly building back up to playing more regularly again, and there isn't much else out there that I want to spend my money on. So I might as well put that money towards something that I still love. Plus, I get a shiny new toy to play with. And you get some free entertainment as well, because I'm really bad at piloting assault mechs. No! No, 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 no! No! Help me! New light mech when? BGI, please. The gods really do listen! My prayers have been answered! This is also a great time for me to mention that I've picked up live streaming once again on a semi-regular basis. So if you're into that sort of thing, head over to my Twitch page, and you might just catch me live. Link down below.
Target destroyed.
Pickle, you little shit.
Oh, and don't worry if you're not into the whole giant stompy robot thing, I do stream more than just MechWarrior. In fact, I've got a backlog of single-player games that I've been meaning to get to, so I think streaming will help motivate me to actually start one up. To continue on the topic of hard to get into high skill floor games, this week's sponsor, War Thunder. Just kidding, they're not sponsoring me. Although wouldn't that be cool? I actually started playing this game last year, as stated in last year's end of year video, but I stopped shortly after that because the game just got too frustrating. Or, to put it another way, I wasn't learning the game well enough to appreciate its intricacies. Because much like MechWarrior Online, War Thunder is immensely complicated. And that can spell disaster when I don't have the mental bandwidth to handle it. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. It took the better part of this year for me to finally convince myself to give it another go. And I'm not sure how it happened this time, but I eventually just got over the vexations I had with it, and I actually started to enjoy playing it? Wait, that's not right. Because unlike every other time I've tried to learn it, things just sort of clicked this time. And no, it's not because of the waifu pillows. Maybe it's because of the waifu pillows? I don't know. Now I of course have to give a lot of credit and some major thanks to my friends for all of their patience and advice in teaching me how the various game mechanics work, because without their guidance I wouldn't have had the motivation needed to stick with it and become a better player. Teamwork makes the dream work in a game like this, and that's very much the case in a game like this. Getting constantly stomped while you're trying to learn how to play is never fun, so I'm thankful that my friends were there to help carry my sad story ass and protect my tiny fragile tanks while I figured things out. And as I said, eventually I just got the hang of it and I was able to play regularly while enjoying it rather than loathing the idea of playing simply because it's what my friends were into at the time. They boot up War Thunder often enough that it made me want to learn the game. Yet every time I tried, I got salty and gave up. So remember back when I said that MWO has a high skill floor and is hard to get into as a beginner? Well, same goes for War Thunder. And would you know it, I took my own advice of just sticking with it, and with enough time and patience, I finally got the hang of it. That's of course not to say that I'm all that good still, but the important part is that I'm having fun.
Get down, Mr. President.
Trust me, you don't want to be here.
The Emperor protects. The Emperor protects.
The Emperor is preventing me from shooting.
I know.
The Emperor is preventing me from shooting. The Emperor needs to fucking move.
I have been broken. Hold on.
Oh, motherfucker.
My barrel is stuck. I must repair.
Fuck. The Emperor did not protect. The Emperor blocked my only fucking shot. I could have killed him a couple of minutes ago.
I see things are going well over here.
Yes.
No. I mean, we have the points, so technically, but like...
And learning while having fun is infinitely more rewarding and enjoyable than maybe learning through frustrations and unfun moments. That's also not to say there aren't still some times when the situations I face in game aren't complete bullshit.
but that happens a lot less now because I have more game knowledge to fall back on to know how not to get myself into those sorts of situations. I seem to like complicated games like this that have mechanical substance over simpler titles that are easier to play, but it takes a certain mental state to get into these games and accept that I'm going to be really bad at them for a long time until I can figure things out. But in the back of my mind, there's always that itch telling me that I want to play it, to get better, despite that I know it'll be rough waters for a length of time. A bonus for me in particular is that War Thunder even shares mechanical similarities with MechWarrior Online, where your forward and reverse direction is independent of your aim direction, because, you know, instead of piloting a walking tank with legs, you're just driving a literal, actual tank. Ultimately, I'm glad that I'm finally getting the hang of things in War Thunder, because now I have another complicated game to enjoy when I get tired of the constant NASCAR races of MechWarrior Online and need to take a break. Speaking of taking breaks, let's do that! Let's take a break from all these highly complicated, stress-inducing video games and go for a drive. Get away from it all. Leave the big city behind for a while and see what nature has to offer. Maybe cross state lines and explore the paths rarely beaten. When I wasn't heroically saving hostages, apprehending suspects, or liberating the Inner Sphere from their barbaric ways by use of battle mechs and war crimes, I was instead leisurely traveling from city to city and coast to coast, seeing all the sights and just trying to live in the moment. A large portion of this time was spent in the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest. The Crew 2 is rather interesting because despite its many glaring shortcomings, it's a fairly competent driving game. There's this cringy influencer theme or whatever that luckily you can just completely ignore once you get past the annoying forced tutorial and play the game in sandbox mode. For the most part though, both these titles serve their purposes of being casual sit back and relax vehicle sandboxes where you can just drive around the map if you want to without needing to progress through the campaign, and I appreciate that aspect of them. You can of course complete races to gain money and experience, as well as upgrade parts to make your car faster. And Motorfest lets you transfer your cars over, so at least you don't have to grind away twice to get the same vehicles. The handling in 2 doesn't feel very good though, so the racing isn't very fun, but just driving around and traveling from one location to the next is quite enjoyable. Motorfest somehow managed to fix the janky controls and overall looks and feels like a much more polished product. Now if only they could retroactively update 2 with all the improvements they've made to Motorfest, because despite the graphical downgrade and the poor controls, I actually prefer the vast continental US map over the smaller Hawaiian islands of the successive installment. Motorfest doesn't have these yet, but Crew 2 has these little diary investigation quests where you can retrace the footsteps of someone's journal as they traveled around and experienced life or something. They're actually pretty cool though. They provide you a nice relaxing way to gain experience without needing to do races if you're not in the mood for that. They usually focus on a theme of some sort, give you a little story, and provide an approximate location of where they want you to go. So you must use your expert detective skills to find that specific thing, travel to that specific thing, and then scan it. At which point you gain experience and unlock the next chapter in the journal. You can set a waypoint or figure it out yourself, and most of the routes will take you through and to scenic locales that are pleasant and enjoyable to look at. The best part is, at the end of it all, you get a free car. Look, there's the journal on the dash from the quest, a neat little detail that rewards the player for their hard work and makes the vehicle feel unique. Time to get sweaty again. And look, I'm not a fan of extraction shooters. So when Dinner gifted me Incursion Red River, I took one look at it and went, oh god, no, why? But after reading the fine print, I noticed that it said PvE only. And that changed my mind.
27 confirmed kills.
It would be unfair to talk about the game in depth right now because it's still very early in development, so there isn't a lot to it right now. But what's there currently does show promise. The gunplay feels very good, for example. The weapon animations are all really nice, the firing feels responsive.
Is that your 70 seconds confirmed kill?
You've got all the standard issue aiming and mag check controls, and it comes with some elaborate customization options to allow you to do stupid things with your arsenal of guns. There are currently 2 maps and a grab bag of mission types, mostly consisting of collect thing, deliver thing to location, and extract. Oh, and of course, loot the bodies and steal everything that's not bolted down. Not gonna lie though, playing it by myself is pretty boring.
I tried it once and left halfway through the mission because it's just straight up not fun solo. The gameplay is too slow and the AI either one-shot you or they're not a threat at all. However, when you're with a group of friends who can take things semi-seriously when the need arises, but are able to chill out and enjoy each other's company without getting too sweaty, salty, or just speeding through the map, it can be quite enjoyable.
Oh man, my scut.
Oh shit! I want you to know, Harley, that I wasn't even aiming down my sights.
I want you to know that I have just lost 6 guns.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you buy this game right now, especially if you don't have friends to play it with, because there just isn't enough in the game to do at the moment to fulfill multiple play sessions. But I would definitely recommend keeping it within your radar for the time being if you're into this sort of game. And if you've got a batch of friends willing to give it a shot with you, then go right ahead. The last notable game I played this year was Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It went on sale at one point, and remembering my disappointment with Wildlands, I pondered if I should spend the $20 to be disappointed once again. Normally, I'd pass on these opportunities as I enjoy not being disappointed. But I was in an optimistic mood that day, and after pondering some more, realized that what I had been missing from my life was more tactical shooter, and this time, in third person. And maybe Breakpoint was it. So after having no issues with Uplay, that's a first, I booted it up, and do I dare say I actually enjoyed it? Just in case you haven't already figured it out by now, I'm a big fan of story-driven games, and what draws me in is when the character I'm playing has a believable and meaningful inclusion to said story, and much to my surprise, Breakpoint has that. Now that I've had more time to think about it, I feel like I've mostly nailed down why I had such a hard time enjoying the previous title, Wildlands. And it all boils down to the story. Or rather, more specifically, my lack of playing through it. Last year I talked about how Wildlands felt aimless to me, and that there was little significance to the reasoning why the player character was where they were, which in turn made the rather repetitive gameplay feel wasteful and insignificant. Add on to that, most of the quests were too simplified to justify the time requirement to grind through the quest lines, and I ended up with feelings of confusion and boredom. Now, because I had been playing in co-op with a friend, I had skipped the beginning parts of the story entirely, to get to the part where I can join up in multiplayer. But that caused me to miss out on a lot of the foundational bits required to understand why the characters were here doing what they were doing. Additionally, because the gameplay is so open-ended, my lack of understanding the baseline objectives of the operators rendered the game world feeling disjointed, with little connection between the character I'm playing and the environment they're in, which brought up more questions than it did answers, and made it feel more like a random sandbox of gameplay elements smashed together than it did a setting grounded in reality. For Breakpoint, I decided to play it solo only, focusing on what this world was, and the importance of my presence. This made my time in-game a lot more enjoyable for me because I now understood the foundation for why this world existed, and the reasoning behind my character's place inside it. In the intro cutscene, we find out why we were heading to this mysterious island, and it gives us the opportunity to ask the more immediate questions relevant to our current situation. Why was our heli shot down? What shot it down? Where are our teammates? Did any of them survive? As I navigated through the tutorial, I discovered some weapons I realized I wanted, and since this is an open world game, I decided to seek those out first before I continued on with the campaign. If only I could figure out how to get out of the damn hub. On that topic, I'd like to mention how easy it is to get lost.
You can issue different orders to your teammates.
Excuse the interruption. Anyway, I'm not really a big fan of hubs like this, because it usually takes me longer than necessary to find what I need and do what I want. I get that they're supposed to solidify the game world and add an extra layer of believability to the significance of these locations, but they often get underutilized in ways meant to engage me in them. When I'm here to do stuff, I'd rather just have the options to access everything I need through a menu instead. I don't want to spend the 10 to 30 seconds it takes to jog from person to person just to access certain features of the game. I also don't like how intrusive these stupid tutorial cutscenes are. Like, you don't have to tell me how to play the game, I know how to play it. I think it's an unintuitive and lazy way of explaining to the player how certain game mechanics work. Because, in my opinion, I would much rather have you explain this stuff to me while I'm playing the game and let me do it instead of showing me, because by the time I actually get to the spot where I can do it, I'm not going to remember it. Because you showed it to me at the beginning of the game, instead of letting me do it, you know? Anyway,
Now that we're out of the hub, let's start talking about the gameplay. It's mostly the same as Wildlands, and that's a bit of a letdown because it still isn't as challenging as I think I want it to be. So instead I make it a challenge for myself by turning the difficulty up and choosing as much stealth as possible, because that's basically how I want to play anyway. And although the game mechanics don't lend themselves well to stealth effectively, it's serviceable enough to do, and it sort of scratches that Splinter Cell itch for me. The first few bases I chose to clear were suspenseful and tense, as each target taken out could potentially alert the others, and since I had just started playing, I was unaware of the NPC's detection radius, threat level, or aggressiveness. As I got to understand how the game played though, that suspense started to fade. It became too easy to take out all the baddies without detection, or avoid them entirely and just complete my objectives. Except for when I want to stealth and the game forces me to kill people, which was a little disappointing. For example, under the cover of night, I made my way around a compound to talk to a familiar face. From the entrance to my subject and back again, I was able to completely avoid the enemies. This type of situation can happen often enough that it's easy to become bored with the game. Why fight when you don't have to? But then why play the game when there's nothing to incentivize you to fight them to complete the objective? But on that same coin, sneaking in, clicking on the thing, and then leaving is too easy. So, I feel like I'm gonna say that I'd rather just go play Splinter Cell again, even though that's what I said last year. But that's kind of how I feel. I think it needs to be more difficult. Now, in saying that, I do love the fact that I have variety in my approach. I have multiple options available to me to tackle my objectives. But when all those options are just a little too easy, it doesn't do anything for me. I need that challenge. I need that risk of failing. Otherwise, what's the reward?
You know you're a really negative person? How about a little optimism? We're gonna find stuff, lots of stuff. God, I hate this job.
A game like this should at times be difficult, but most of the time it's not. The most exciting mission I took on was actually one I wasn't even allowed to complete at that time because my level was too low. But I didn't know that going in because the game didn't do a very good job of telling me. And due to the nature of the open world, I was allowed to just go there and trigger the quest. My target was this old airbase. My objective, go there and talk to a guy inside. So once again, under the cover of night, I set forth in a boat, made entrance at a breakage in the fence, and spent the rest of that early morning scouring the location for clues on how to find the guy, all the while avoiding the menacingly scary electro tank patrolling the area. I guess I forgot to record this part my first time here because I can't find the footage of these earlier moments, so I had to go back and reenact it for this video. I apologize if the changes to my cosmetics bother you. This made for a tense and enjoyable stealth mission because now there was actual danger. I knew that I was massively outgunned, and being spotted by that tank meant certain death. So under absolutely no circumstances was I to alert the base to my presence. Hours passed by and the sun rose high in the sky as I meticulously traveled the landscape in my quest to find my target. One by one I slowly took out the patrols, hoping to make my life easier, only to mess up once and alert the rest of the base. But with the power of CatPad on my side, I was able to avoid the eyes of a backup chopper. And before long, it was just the scary cyber tank and myself in this now empty airbase. But I was still at a loss as to where my target was. The game hadn't given me further context clues, and searching around the place yielded no results. The objective banner simply said, search for Walker inside the airfield. Okay, sure. But I've done that now, so where is he? I ended up searching the internet for a walkthrough, and it turns out I had to destroy the tank to progress. Well, that was impossible because I had nothing on me that could do that. I tried to make use of some nearby vehicles, only to fail so spectacularly that my only remaining option left was to limp my way back to the coast and make an escape. My spirits crushed, and all that hard work sneaking around and choosing the right moment to strike, wasted. On one hand, I appreciate and look forward to high-risk, high-reward gameplay like this, but not when the game locks me out of completing the objective without adequately telling me first. I got pretty discouraged by this failure, and my playtime slowly dwindled down to only the occasional continuation. That is, of course, until the DLC, which for some stupid reason is called a Year One Pass, not a DLC, went on sale, and within that DLC is a Splinter Cell side quest, and I am so starved for anything Splinter Cell these days that I had no choice but to shell out. It's not very cool that only the start of this questline is available in the base game, but I guess I can't complain too much because my purchase of both the base game and the DLC while on sale still didn't add up to the game's regular sale price. Anyway, for $20 I got to spend a good couple of hours with this legendary old old man. As a longtime Splinter Cell fan and someone who was introduced to these games as a child, it's great to see Sam Fisher back in action once again, even if it is just to hold a few conversations with the man and to hear him talk inside my ear. But to hear Ironside's iconic voice once more, see those trifocal goggles, and work through an elaborate storyline with intrigue and consequence, it's like meeting up with an old friend you haven't hung out with in years. I also appreciate how Nomad doesn't idolize the guy like he's some magical superhero only talked about in folklore. They just converse like two highly specialized military guys with a common goal, and to get that goal completed with professionalism. And murder. Lots of murder. Now, are these missions any different in gameplay than the main quest line? Unfortunately, no. It's just more of the same stuff, but now with a well-known character who plays as your handler instead. So that's a bit disappointing. I wanted more structured stealth missions, where you could choose to leave the enemies alone and simply slip by undetected, but most of the missions require that I take out the bad guys to progress. So what I did instead was leave my band of brothers behind and go it alone for that true Splinter Cell experience. This made the gameplay more to my liking because no longer could I use my AI teammates as a crutch when I messed up. I had to go about sneaking around silently and taking bad guys out one by one, which I opted to do with close quarters takedowns for that extra feeling of ninja badassery. Going back to the main story though, I like where it's going, and with a twist kicking off some investigative work, initiating a tone of mystery and unlocking thought-provoking dialogue between the characters. It piques my interest enough to keep with it for the narrative and see where it all goes. There are definitely some characters and important story beats that I've missed from not playing Wildlands, and this makes me wonder if maybe the previous title is worth a revisit just to experience the story. And that about wraps it up. 2024 was overall a good year for me. Maybe much less varied, but much more saturated in the few games I did play. Here's hoping 2025 is just as fun. Maybe even better. If you've made it this far in the video, I'd like to thank you for spending the time out of your day to watch my stuff. And to end things on a high note, please enjoy a few clips I captured this year of the everlasting classic that is Left 4 Dead 2.
Perfect opportunity to charge one of these guys off the thing. Goodbye, Darklight.
Nice. Just like that.
Oh my god, that was fucking great.
Oh, no, Pickle, no! No, Pickle, no!
No!
No, Pickle, no! No, don't do this!
Oh, no, I was down there! It's coming after you! No! Not me! Not me! Ah!
Jesus, I'm down! It'll be fine, everyone.
Panic report.
Help me!
Run, Tora!
Dude, I'm
No! Run! What the fuck?
Pickle! Did he just fall on top of us?
Yes, he did!
Well, I saw Panic alerted the horde, and then he came running at me. And
Why is that him
Please
dead?
shoot the small things.
Holy shit, I'm alive! What the hell?
Okay, I'm here.
Panic, why? How did you get here?
What are you talking about?
What the fuck? Oh my god!
Come on now, get up!
We're gonna be fine.
Come on, Lou.
Oh my god, get up, Panic! Holy shit! I can't!
Get up, we gotta go!
Get up, Turok!